Hey, just wanted to discuss something which I think is really important, and that's obviously the topic around kind of mental health and everything in relation to mental health. Before my birthday, which I turned 27, I basically was trying to do too much. I was trying to do too much too fast. So, like writing deadlines and trying to get stuff into people and going to the gym, maybe not sleeping well as well. Too much was trying to get done too fast. And my body language was not calm. Like, if you had met me, you would have said that I would have looked kind of frantic. Like trying to do everything really fast in the shortest amount of time possible. I didn't kind of tell myself to slow down. I kind of, in a way, sort of kind of got off on being frantic or anxious. And it's been like that for years for me. Right through school. A lot of people who would have known me would have said that my body language and how I acted was not calm. It was like agitated, aggressive, frantic. There's no better word than frantic for me anyway. Coupled with all that stress of like trying to get stuff in on time, try to kind of come up with new ideas, and going to the gym, feeling kind of like physically fatigued as well, trying to do too much too fast. And that kind of coupled with my birthday, which I turned 27, kind of that in itself sort of made me think a bit like existentially about life and thinking way too deep into my life, my future and the past, all that kind of stuff. Coupled with the stress before that and the kind of weird midlife existential crisis, I got, for the first time in months, got like a horrible panic attack. Went to bed at like 11 one night last week and woke up at 2, half 2. Had this massive panic attack. You know, the usual works, you know, like feeling outside yourself, dizziness, shaking. I was like trapped in my fucking head. Legitimately thought I was going crazy. Closest feeling I've ever had to like a point of sort of insanity. It's just anxiety, you know, you're not going crazy. It's like the opposite is happening. You're too aware. You're too conscious of yourself and your mind and your thoughts and how you feel all the time. You like literally everything from like, you know, your body language to your thoughts. It's like your physiology, how you carry yourself. I would have carried myself very like frantically, as I said. I keep using that word. There's no better word. Everything was like a rush to do stuff in like the shortest amount of time possible. And after having the panic attack, I did fall asleep. Then I entered into a really weird phase called depersonalization. And it's a really scary thing that goes hand in hand with anxiety and panic. The feeling is like being outside yourself. You don't feel real, and it's a really hard thing to kind of explain to somebody who doesn't understand. You don't feel real. Like you're not. Your mind and your body are not like connected. Your mind feels like outside your body. Like you're it complete. You feel like a total loss of control over your body and your mind. Really scary sensation. As far as I know, that depersonalization is just a defense mechanism for a mind that's too stressed. Um, the, like the best way I can sum it up is you think you're going crazy. You think you're going mad. It's called depersonalization, and it is hand in hand with anxiety and panic. Um, so I've like had to like I have definitely felt better over the last 24 hours. Um, and kind of what has helped me feel better is like this feeling of like being overwhelmed or overloaded. My advice for anyone who's going through that is not to focus on it. Keep going with the stuff that you usually do, but dear God, fucking slow down. Slow down. Like I even wrote an SD on my hand for slow down. Um to remind myself not to be frantic about trying to get stuff done, to give myself like enough time to be a little bit more mentally organized. I even wrote SD on my hand. It's great. I still remember it to this day. I still think about it every now and again once I feel like an urge to do something frantically and like fast. Um, what was helpful for me was uh treating your mind like it's not a foe or an enemy. Treat it like a friend, or like a little child you're trying to comfort. It does sound weird, but this is for people who are in a pretty chronic state of anxiety or panic. Um, you're not, you're probably not going to feel uh, depersonalized necessarily before the start of an exam, or unless you have lots of stress built up before that. I mean, this is a cumulative effect of a lot of stress, and most stress is self-created. It's in your mind. Situations are not as terrifying or stressful in reality as they are built up in your head with all this imagination. And the stories we tell ourselves about something that is allegedly catastrophic, even though it isn't in reality. But for natural kind of worriers, it's often like a catastrophic thing. Even small things can be perceived by us as like a catastrophe. What helped me kind of feel more grounded and back in myself was reassuring my mind that I was safe. The second one's a bit weird, maybe. I actually got a present of a plant, like a small like house plant. It's called a succulent, and um, this sounds kind of weird, but I literally would like sit down, hold the plant in my hand, and like feel or touch the leaves on it, and like stroked the leaves on this plant. That sounds kind of weird, but I don't know why, but even doing that was really comforting. Um, dear God, get some exercise. Exercise. Even just go for a fucking walk. Put on your earphones and just go for a 2 minute walk. Stay out of your head. Just it's hard, but stop analyzing. Um, the feeling will pass. It will pass 100%. I still get a little bit anxious around the nighttime or when it's dark out, like now, as kind of that was the last time I had my panic attack, and my mind is kind of saying, "Are you sure we're safe? Is it safe now?" And it's a process of having to like reassure yourself that you're safe, and nothing catastrophic is going to happen. Um, Deep breathing, in through the nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then out through the mouth for 5, 6 seconds. Um, you'll notice you're more stressed when you can't belly breathe. Um, when you can't, when you inhale, your stomach is supposed to like push out. If that doesn't happen fully, or there's resistance there to that, um, something's wrong. That's it. That is such a great test for me to see, am I stressed? If I breathe out and my stomach doesn't go out the full way, if it's shaky, nervous, that's a great test to see, are you under some kind of, you know, physical stress. Also holding that plant and like, touching the leaves of that plant and kind of, it sounds really hippie-ish, but getting back into like nature, is great. Get some exercise. Um, the worst thing you can do is keep focusing on the feeling of like panic, stress, anxiety. Read a ton of like positive messages or like positive affirmations. Um, Read a ton of them. And like absorb its message and reassure yourself that you're okay. You are okay. It's just it's a fucking it's a really anxious time in your life. I would have called it like a crisis for me. Um, but you will slowly come out of the feeling. Also, it does help to like talk to someone. Obviously, talk to anyone about it. But it's such a massive topic. I mean, it's really natural for me to get like depressed, low, as I said, depersonalized after like this big panic attack. And I just always have to remind myself to like, slow down and don't try and do everything at once. And like, watch your body language. Are you running around? Are you breathing fast? Is everything fast? I'm telling you, like, that's gonna contribute to like anxiety. Um, but I hope that helped. It will pass. For me, it's past maybe like the feeling of being like detached has passed like 90%. Still a bit anxious around the nighttime. Um, but yeah, that'll go in time. It's just the best thing you can do is not to keep analyzing yourself. Or always checking up on yourself, like thinking existentially about your life or your mind. Um, that's a one-way ticket to like fucking madness. Like keep busy, is what I'm trying to say.